Tonight on The Roast, liquid breakfasts are accused of making false nutritional claims and a daredevil successfully walks across the Grand Canyon. But first, some of Australia's most popular retailers are using factories in Bangladesh that are allegedly abusing their workers, with Four Corners revealing
Rivers, Coles, Target and Kmart ordered clothes from factories in Bangladesh that did not meet international standards.
So now you've got another reason to avoid telling people that you shop at Target. Factory workers told Four Corners they were only paid $3 a day working for Australian brand Rivers and say they are put under intolerable pressure. But don't worry, workers. I know the daily wage of $3 sounds bad, but wait till you see what it looks like at Kmart.
And the cat with the bass and drum going around like bum bum bum.
Exploding nail polish, and it's so cheap you can afford to just pour it out like that and then buy some more and then pour it out, so long as it keeps getting made for almost nothing. Now, the Four Corners investigation was headed by Sarah Ferguson, who, along with her report from last year on live animal exports, is just about ready to release her DVD box set, Everything You Do Is Wrong. But let's be honest, there's no obvious social stigma to wearing sweatshop clothes because it's so hard to know who's wearing them. Mark Humphries knows what I'm talking about, and he joins me now.
I'll have the bacon and eggs and the fair trade cappuccino.
Sure, and how would you like your eggs?
Free range.
No, I meant poached or fried.
Scrambled. Tom, I'm a socially conscious individual, but unfortunately right now, I can only show that by ordering free-range, cruelty-free food. But I can't eat all the time, that's crazy. So how do I make clothes shopping socially conscious? Well, we need to look to a model that has been successful in the past. I'm talking about chickens. We all buy free-range eggs over caged eggs now, even though they're more expensive, because people have learnt to care about the conditions of chickens. But why do we care more about chickens than we do about people? I just don't know. So why not replace all those Bangladeshi factory workers with thousands of chooks? It's my understanding they already know basic needlepoint. And that way your ethical consumers will finally care about the working conditions in those clothes factories. Case closed. Well, except for one thing, chickens don't have the nimble digits required for factory sewing. They have talons, and you can't operate heavy machinery with talons. And that chicken I referenced earlier that knows needlepoint, it was a claymation figurine from the genius mind of Nick Park. So, our only other alternative is to apply the blunt labelling guidelines of eggs that highlight the conditions in which they were produced to clothing. And with that, we now welcome the caring Mr. Dave Ferrier to show his new free-range t-shirt, which was ethically made by a consenting adult paid above minimum wage under good working conditions. Look at that stud. He is one ethical individual. And now he's encouraging his friends to buy their own free-range shirts. And he doesn't want to be seen wearing one of those unethical shirts. Look at Sean, the horrible monster. Sean bought a shirt made by Salma in Bangladesh, who told Four Corners about her employers. They slap us on the face, on the head, and on the back. Shame on you, Sean. I'm sure you'll be thinking twice before buying that again. Back to you, Tom.
This is really nice. What, it was cheap. Okay, fine, I'll buy the free-range shirt. Next up tonight, the consumer group Choice yesterday published a pretty damning report on so-called liquid breakfasts, saying many of them make false claims about being high in fibre or a good source of protein. Now, these products are designed for people like me who don't always have time for breakfast.
You don't always have time for breakfast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's why we've taken the time to blend the goodness of fibre from oats
Without any of the badness of fibre from oats, like actually having to eat them. But it turns out they haven't really got the goodness either, because while the benchmark for high in fibre is 10%,
Liquid breakfasts have on average 1.5% fibre.
meaning of the 23 products examined by Choice, many were just high in bullshit. Incidentally, bullshit, quite high in fibre. Now, back in January, a new food standard was introduced to make sure that nutrition content claims on food labels were actually true, with the food regulator hoping
The standards will make it easier for food producers to label their products.
But it's only easy if you assume the easiest thing to do is tell the truth. And for the Food and Grocery Council, that seemed like an unnecessarily onerous system. As Chief Executive Gary Dawson explained,
The original intent here was by enabling companies to make a broader range of health claims on their packaging that would in fact drive innovation.
yeah, you see, making shonky claims on packaging packaging is just a way of giving companies the motivation to one day actually invent a product that does what it says on the packaging. It fires them up. It's like when Home and Away keeps saying, an episode you can't afford to miss. If they keep saying it, one day it might actually be true. And for more on this requirement of honesty in advertising, Rachel Corbett joins me in the studio.
Tom, I really don't understand why you've got a problem with this. I mean, sure, we all know that fruits and vegetables are the best things that we can possibly eat, but God, they're so boring. So when a company comes along and tells us that something called chalk ice is good for us, well, we believe it to be true because we want it to be true.
But Rachel, these companies are lying to us.
Oh, they're not lying to us, they're just dressing it up. You don't want wheat bix and milk all blended up with nothing else in it.
Oh, that doesn't taste like chocolate.
Exactly, but then you throw a few extra things into it, just don't highlight them on the front of the pack, and you can have the goodness of wheat bix and milk with the taste of...
Choco ice. That is good for me. Well, that feels wrong.
Oh, everybody does it, Tom. Up and Go don't highlight the sugar and the inulin on the front of their packaging, just like I don't tell people that I like the smell of my own earwax and cry on the toilet sometimes. Some things just don't need to be put in big, bold lettering. Like when you asked me in my job interview, what do you think are your weaknesses? I didn't answer that I use the office Wi-Fi to pirate TV shows and steal tea bags from the kitchen because you wouldn't have employed me. So what I did instead was put forward the good parts of my personality and then just pretend the other bits don't exist. It's the sanitarium system and we all use it.
No artificial colours.
All right, so I dye my hair sometimes, but you wouldn't know that unless you read the back. And the point is, everyone's too busy to read the back of things, and marketing just takes advantage of that. More Wheat Bix smoothie?
Oh, no thank you. But this is about more than just the fact that nutrition tastes awful, with the Choice Report finding that 1 in 4 Australians does not have time to eat breakfast. Well, Nick Richardson is a 1 in 4 Australian. Nick,
Yeah,
why...
OK, I'm going to have to cut you off, Tom. No time for complete sentences. I'm a busy, important, handsome man.
OK, so do you have time to eat breakfast?
No time for breakfast either, Tom. In fact, if I had things my way, I wouldn't even need to eat. But since I live in this flawed, mortal, yet attractive body, I'm forced to eat to survive. So I find shortcuts with liquid food so I can get on with life. But the Choice Report says liquid foods make dodgy nutrition claims. I don't care. As long as it's something I can put in my body to get me through to the next time I need something in my body, that's all I want. Why aren't more people outraged by the fact that we still need to eat food? Oh, where's Choice's report on the fact we still don't have food in pill form? You know, the last time I got excited about food was when I saw Mila Jovovich put a bowl in a microwave and removed a whole roast chicken. Where's my futuristic roast chicken, Tom?
OK, but if you take the time to prepare healthy food, you'll live longer.
Yeah, but that extra life is taken up by food preparation time. I mean, who's got time for this? Oh, look, I'm already late for my meeting. Now what, I'm just supposed to... Useless. Stupid analog food.
Well, finally tonight, tightrope walker and somehow not yet dead Nick Wallenda has completed a record-breaking stroll across the Grand Canyon, traversing the famous tourist attraction on nothing but 5 centimetres of steel. Wallenda said he'd been planning the walk for 4 years, no doubt trying to decide which route was the best one to take. Throughout the broadcast, he repeatedly thanked Jesus during the walk, which makes sense because Jesus was no stranger to daredevil stunts. But at least he had water to break his fall. Now, Wallenda's walk was broadcast live on the Discovery Channel, which also sponsored this death-defying stunt. And thankfully, it involved a lot of defying, because otherwise the Discovery Channel would have simply sponsored a death stunt. For more now on what this dangerous stunt means to people worldwide, we go to this special report from Clark Richards.
The Grand Canyon, Niagara Falls, skyscrapers. All awe-inspiring features of our landscape for the public to enjoy, now ruined by daredevils making it all about them. These places were beautiful and unsullied, but now when I look at Christ the Redeemer, all I can think of is the people who have bungee jumped off his massive face. These daredevils are ruining the wonders of the world by making nature their stunt playground. Imagine the scene. You're on a family trip at the Grand Canyon, overlooking the beautiful and picturesque gorge, and then BAM! Nick Wallenda, with blatant disregard for common sense, struts across a rocky gorge in slippers and says, "I'm not scared of dying," and that even if he plummeted to his death, "If I die, I have peace." Sure, he'll have peace, but what about the onlookers at the canyon? We're now at a point where we not only need to make things child-proof for inquisitive children, but apparently make our natural and man-made wonders stunt-proof, so that the Grand Canyon doesn't become the place that entire generation of trapeze artists died. The solution? At Niagara Falls, put in a walkway from one side to the other. Now daredevils will always make it across. The Grand Canyon? Forget it. Fill it in and say hello to the Grand Plateau. There'll be no death to defy here. In short, we need to protect our daredevils so we can protect our planet's wonders. For The Roast at the Grand Canyon, I'm Clark Richards.
Thanks, Clark. And that's all the time we have tonight. Sadly, it looks like I'm not going to make it home for dinner. So, once again,